Alright, welcome everyone. Toolbox Talks. I've got Jim Taousanis here. So we've got his book. He's the author of Evabetta for Seniors. He's got two others, Evabetta for Everyone, and there's also another saying with Underworld Commando. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you very much. So, the Evabetta for Seniors. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. This one is, well, we spent about 12 years in nursing homes, and we started out with churches on this one. So we were training senior people. So senior in the book is defined by anybody 65 and over, but that may cover a little bit 5 years up or down. And these are the people where the body starts to break down a little bit faster. So from as age increases, then the breakdown becomes a little bit more rapid, particularly if there's no history of fitness and training. So we began there, and it was a gold coin donation, but I learned a lot of things over the 12 years that we trained these people in a group exercise situation and structure. And then from there, I listened very carefully to their questions and began to answer those questions in this book here. And along with that, I've used one of my dear friends here, who's gone now, he's not with us any longer, but a very good man, military man, and he kept his health going. He was a diabetic for 40 years, Ray Brooks, and he became the subject of the book in the photograph. So he's an awesome example of that. All you need in this book, with this book, is a rubber band, a stretch band, a ball, and a chair. And there you have all the equipment for a complete body workout. I can tell you a little bit more. Generally, you know, with ordinary ages, or the different ages, there's less requirements. Fitness has around about 4 components, but with these guys, the senior generation, they have more components to fitness. They also have to worry about balance, bone density, joint mobility, and cardiovascular capacity that's changed on account of their age. So there are specific things to consider.
Right. So with this, it says chair, ball and band. So is it just limited to the senior generation, or can younger generations use it as well? Say, for example, someone who is younger, who has a debilitating disease or something like that, or is just generally unfit. Would this be a decent way, even though it says for seniors, would it be a decent way for someone who doesn't have the strength, or is lacking in the strength of bone density, to get into fitness? Is it a good place to start?
Yes, definitely. If there's someone with a training history, then that might seem a little bit light, unless you make your stretch band a cable, as we have here in the studio. So if you have a cable, you could load that up with a heavier weight, like one of these weight stacks, and turn that into your stretch band for someone who has a history and is more advanced. But if it's a complete beginner, the stretch band provides enough resistance to be able to get a really good workout. The cardio is only a 1-minute segment, so that's going to give you cardiovascular benefits without the long endurance events that then tend to waste away your arms and legs. So you're going to have that tone, the strength, the bone density, as we said before, joint mobility. And if someone's coming into rehabilitation out of an injury, perfect, what you said before. That's absolutely a great time to begin this way and then progress. So exercise is a progression, great way to begin for anyone.
Is there any focus in the book about calisthenics or any of that sort of stuff? Because I know the army, the military and the defence forces and stuff, they have a big focus on calisthenics, like body weight movement and that sort of stuff as well. So is that something that is going to be worthwhile for someone who's never trained, or someone who doesn't have access to a gym through like the COVID times and stuff that we are now? Is that going to be beneficial?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So the body is a weight. And the only difference between other kinds of weights that work with gravity and body weight is that the body weight is static, it doesn't change, but you can still use the body weight for a number of different exercises, being calisthenics, being body weight exercises. So you could use the body for squats. You could use the body for jump squats, which makes it more difficult if you add a jump. You could use the body then again for single leg jump squats, or the same structure for lunges. And so the body then becomes the instrument of the exercise. The rubber band allows us to change the direction of gravity being only straight down, so we can jump and we can move into a squat or a lunge. But if we want to work the upper body, for instance, let's say chest, we want to move in this direction. Now gravity or the resistance has changed its direction. It's now horizontal.
So how would you increase resistance with a band if you're going to do it that way?
The bands, that's a very good question. The bands come in grades, so you get a yellow and green and a blue one and a black one, which is the hardest, so that's from easiest. There's also red, which is very easy. So they come graded. You can choose the colour of the band. They're not very expensive. You can buy them in a department store, Kmart sell them, sports stores sell them. You can combine the two. So I've been using one band. I've been using, say, the green band. Now I want to go to a blue band, but the difference between blue and black may be too great. So I might combine the blue one with a red one, for instance. So you can combine them. You can also fold them over and double them.
So in using that, how would you use it? Would you one in each hand around the back of the shoulders?
Yeah, around the back of the shoulders is good for chest, for chest press.
And what about if you're going to use it for squats? How would you do that?
Well, you could step on it and do a squat, and from your chair, because remember that with this book, it's only band, ball, and chair. So you could sit in the chair, put it under your feet, and stand.
Yep.
Now, if I grip it really deep, the resistance is going to be high. If I grip it loosely, then the resistance is low.
Could you step on the band and then put it over your shoulders?
You put it over your shoulders as well, but that will compress the spine a little bit. So for seniors, it might be better to just hold it here by your side.
Right.
If there's arm strength difficulty, well then, okay, you could use the shoulders and let a little bit more of the band out. Also, that depends on the band length. So if you're a long band, you can put it over your shoulders, it's easy. Short band, it's going to make it really tight.
Right. What about, can you isolate different muscle groups like biceps and triceps as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I try to give you in the book compound exercises, which means using more than one muscle group at the same time when muscles cross two joints. But muscles crossing only one joint is an isolation. So for instance, biceps, you can step on the band and do a bicep curl this way.
Yeah.
Triceps you could extend, which these are in the book. These are two of the typical exercises in the book, and you can extend the rubber band between my hands here this way, and then begin to exercise one and isolate one tricep group of tricep muscles at a time.
Right. In the book, do you mention anything about like pull-ups or chin-ups or anything? Is that good for seniors or people that haven't done anything before? Pulling
is difficult. So legs is easy. Okay, we can use body weight. Pushing is fairly easy. We can put the band around our back and then push it and get different angles doing that. Pulling is a little bit more difficult. So we can either anchor the rubber band on something like a post or a door frame or a door handle and then pull. And there's a benefit in that. There's a great benefit in it.
Yep.
Alternatively, what I've done is given a really good, unique exercise where I've combined two things. And that's specifically designed for seniors. So they step on the band with one foot and hold with two hands. One foot is in front of the other, as in a lunge position. Then stoop down and pull back up and then row. So it's a big compound movement. But we call it a bent over row. We'll call that a bent over row, but it's a variation. And it's, remember, one leg in front and the band's around the foot. And that mimics lifting things, picking up things, and gardening, ripping out things. So this is one of the greatest causes of injury for the senior generation is gardening, reefing something, turning off the ground, that angle, and then they've got a back problem. So it'll strengthen the lower back. It's pulling, it'll strengthen the upper back, and it'll strengthen the legs as well, with a bit of core stability and strength as well.
Yep, nice one. So, I'm just going to jump back a little bit. What actually led you into fitness? So what led you to going into the nursing homes, what led you to being involved in fitness as a career?
As my career, well, I've been in gyms, in gymnasiums, and I've been an athlete, so a martial artist since I was a child. So I started with boxing. Of course, I did all the school things, sprinting, running, swimming, all of those things. But then I took on boxing, and that stayed with me for many years. Boxing then converted to karate, and I opened up my own schools. I was running 3 karate schools at that time.
Oh, wow.
That then went into kickboxing, so I went into the fighting ring, and I began to fight, and the boxing ring, so I had some fights. I came out, I went into the military. From the military, I did basic training, infantry training. I did some other specialist training, and was posted to a commando company at that time in the late 80s. So I did some military Australian Army intelligence training, went to commandos, became a special forces soldier, did a lot of running, a lot of swimming, and a lot of other specializations.
As you could imagine in the army.
Yes. And then when I came back after my service, which was 3 years scattered and spread over 5 years, I then opened up my own studio, and that studio then led into a gymnasium business for my whole family.
Yep.
And I still run a studio now 23 years later.
Yeah, wow, magic. I think we might just cut this one a little bit short. We both have to be places, but where can people go to find out more about your work?
Sure. Well, with the book,